Hello and welcome. Now in this video we are going to take the most important topic that you will see in Kotlin, okay, which is the functions lesson. Guys, I highly recommend for you to watch this the function lessons twice because it's really important and as well as complicated topic. Okay, so with that in place, guys, let's go ahead and start talking about functions. What functions are, what they do for us, how we can define functions, so on and so forth. Now, first of all, function is just a piece of code that will get executed in certain time. Okay, and if you look here, guys, once we create this application or this file, it says fun main, and we have this code right here. Okay, so fun, it's extend for function, and the main, it's the main function. Okay, so this the main function, it will get executed once our application is running. Okay, that's why we wrote all our code inside this this function. Okay, because it will get executed as soon as our application is running. Okay, now we first of all, here we have the types of function, and we have these steps of function. Now these steps of function, it will work with any type of these function. Okay, so first of all, let's go ahead and talk about the steps, then we are gonna go back to the types. Now first of all, we need to define a function. Okay, add some code to it and then call the function. Okay, so first of all, guys, we need to define the function. Okay, of course we cannot we should define it outside of this function. Okay, let me click OK. So you maybe have 10 functions or maybe 12, 20 functions in your application. There is no real matter. Okay, it will keep your code clean, and it will once you want to update your code, actually it will be very clean and readable. Okay, so going back to the steps, all we need to do is first of all to define the function, then add the code that we wanted, then call the function. And the reason behind functions is just we use them to do something. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna first of all we are gonna take this first type. We have 3 types of function that we are gonna talk about in Kotlin. We have the basics type, okay, and the function that take parameters, function that return something. Okay, so I'm gonna delete both of the second and the third one. I'm gonna focus on the first type. Okay, so function. Okay, now let's go ahead and apply these three steps to this type. First of all, as I said, we need to go outside of the main function. Then we need to define our function. To define our function, just type fun, the keyword fun, and give it any name that you want. For example, print my name. Okay, it's just the name I've created. Then open these. Okay, and put your code right here. Okay, so now, guys, we have defined our function successfully. Okay, and if you hover over it, it says function print my name is never used. Okay, of course we need to add some code to it. For example, I'm gonna print something, println, I'm gonna add hi from a new function. Okay, now let's go ahead and run our application. Okay, let's see what we are gonna get. Of course, guys, you may be asking, well, can we just cut this print statement and put it inside the main function? Yeah, of course we can. It will work just fine. But imagine that we have, for example, 500 lines of code. Okay, should we put it all of it inside the main function? Of course, it's not a good idea. So you need to use the functions. So as you can see, guys, after our application is running, nothing being printed to the console. And the reason, because we have just worked with the 2 steps, the first one and the second one. We have defined our function, we have added this code to it, then we need to call it. Now if you remember the definition of function, it's a piece of code that will get executed in certain time, and the certain time, we call it the calling time, okay, or we need to call that function when we want to execute it, okay. For example here, when our application is running, this method will get executed, okay. And if we want to execute this function as well, we need to call it from the main function. And to call a function, just we need to type its name, okay, and just like this, okay. Now let's go ahead and run our application. Let's see what we are gonna get. Of course, we are gonna get hi from a new function. As you can see, guys, it's really simple, okay. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create a new function, okay. I'm gonna make it, for example, add two numbers, okay. Simple as that. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create two variables. The first one should be number 1, okay, it's equal to 3, for example, var number 2, it's equal to 6. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create the sum for them, okay. It's equal number 1 multiplied with number 2, okay. And last but not least, I'm gonna print the sum for you guys, okay. Now as you can see, guys, we have created a function that will calculate two numbers together, and we printed the result. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna call it here after my print my name function, okay. And let's run our application, okay. This is the first type of function. It's really simple. It does not need anything. So as you can see, we have get it successfully. So 3 multiplied by 6, it will be 18. Now guys, I do not really care about the code that we are gonna put it in this section, okay. For example, calculate two numbers together, print some things, so on and so forth. But my point here, it's really important to focus on the syntax, how to define a function. So first of all, we need to type the fun keyword, then any name, okay, that you prefer, but choose a human readable name, okay, and open these, okay. This is the first type of functions that you will see, and you are gonna deal with it once we come to Android Studio a lot and a lot and a lot, okay. So just make sure, guys, you understand the first type. It's really simple. Just read these steps and you will be in a good place. Just define the function, okay, then add the code that you want to add it in this function, and call it to make it executed, okay. So that was our first type of functions. Thank you guys so much for watching. We are going to continue with the next type in the next video.